got no ceiling but the sky. Like the world, baby, just rolling by. I don't live anywhere, I live everywhere. This road is my home. There's 9 to 5s, pretty yards. That was never, babe, in the cards. Don't live anywhere, live everywhere. This road is my home. The climbers and glamours, the city, I don't need them.
No matter where you come from, no matter where you're going, here's a place where you can take comfort in the knowing that whether if you come to stay a while or just passing through, this door is open to you. Come and let's be silent. Come and share a hug. Come, let's pray together. Come, love and be loved. From the blissed out to the turned out, from the pampered to the abused, this door is open to you. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. The God in us recognizes the God in you. The God in you. Whether you're black or white or gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, this door is open to you.
Good morning, Claremont Center for Spiritual Living. How are you this morning? Nice to see all of you on this holiday weekend. You all saving your barbecues for tomorrow. I appreciate it that you're here today because it's really hard for me to speak to an empty room, although I have done it before. If you all remember, we did this thing called the pandemic, and I had a camera and 2 people, and you weren't there, and I missed you so much. So I'm just delighted to be here and delighted to have an opportunity to be a part of this community, which is all about love and support, which is all about manifesting that best life that we all seek. And I want to acknowledge, too, that we are streaming live this week, so everybody wave. We were on Facebook last week in spite of the technical difficulties, but I noticed that our filming is much cleaner, crisper, prettier when we're on YouTube, which is what's happening this morning. So I am grateful that we get the word out into the community because you just never know who needs to hear what we have to say, right? All right, so this morning we've had a slight change of plans. Drac is not feeling well, so our musician's corner is empty. However, Ed, the magic sound man, has music for us. So, yes. When we get to the music part, you will just close your eyes and listen and be moved. That's just how we're going to do it today. And our practitioner of the day, it says in your program, is Brad Weather, and this is not Brad. This is Diane, and she will be doing the honors this morning for Brad, who also is not feeling well. So we're sending all kinds of healing energy out there into the world, and including everyone in our community in our thoughts of wellness and wholeness. All right, so we will get started the way we usually do, which is to center ourselves. So if you haven't already, turn those darn phones off and take a breath and close your eyes if you're comfortable, wherever you are, and let the sound of the bowl take you within. And as we breathe in, we recognize that presence, that power, that place of sanctuary that lives within our hearts. It is in this place that we remember that we are part of the web of all life and all are one.
In this holy, quiet moment, we know there is one loving, ever-present mind of God, we allow this loving presence to expand our consciousness and enlarge our understanding to receive the deepest, truest desires of our hearts. We give thanks for divine love that surrounds us, and in turn we share this love with our church family and our home family and the family of man. I release this word and I call it complete, and so it is. Our reading today is taken from Ernest Holmes, and he entitles it, I Prepare for That Which I Wish to Experience. Realizing that all action starts with and is a result of consciousness, I prepare my mind to receive the best that life has to offer. Mentally, I associate myself with that which is good and beautiful and happy. I'm increasingly aware of the one presence, the one life, and the one spirit, which is God. Believing that it is divine intention for everyone to live an abundant life, I consciously align myself with the outpouring of spirit, accepting that all things are possible to the one who has faith. I daily increase my expectancy. I broaden my vision to include a greater good for myself and others. I cultivate faith, keeping my consciousness open to an increasing awareness of my union with good. Today I expect an increase. Today I expect greater joy, more happiness, deeper peace, and a more complete sense of divine power. Today I meet everyone with the understanding that he or she is a part of the divine order. Today I gladly and joyfully enter into the inheritance of the kingdom of good. I know that I have life and I have intelligence, and I live by faith, and I am a part of the one divine being, and therefore I accept this life fully, without reservation. I hold the conviction that good is the eternal reality, that I live this good now.
Just as the sun gives its nourishing light to bring forth the flowers to summer's delight, as time and forgiveness heals all wounds is true, so to begin again, making all things new. As summer gives way to the colors of fall, and autumn surrenders to winter's call, as the earth she embraces the seed of the fruit and knows just what to do, making all things new, making all things new, making all things new, for me and for you, making all things new, making all things new, making all things new, for me and for you, making all things new. As our loved ones move on and are laid to rest, in our hearts they remain and live on as we bless the woman with child soon this world born into. Oh, great things they may do as the promise comes true, for me and for you,
was Eddie Watkins Jr. with Making All Things New. Yay, Eddie. All right, so this morning I light the candle for Labor Day. And the originators of the holiday were looking to improve working conditions for everyone who worked, which was pretty much everyone in the late 1800s. But the work week was 7 days, and the hours were 70 to 80 hours a week. So they were looking for a modest reduction to 6 days and perhaps 70 to 60 hours a week. But revolutionary idea at the time, that somehow the workers could be benefiting from a day off here and there. When I think of Labor Day today, I'm reminded that there isn't anything that any of us do that doesn't depend on the labor of someone else. Unless you are walking naked through a virgin forest where there is no trail, someone has been there before you. They've made your shoes, they grew the food that you eat, or shipped it to the store that you bought it from, or put it in the bag for you. Everything that you're wearing, someone stitched. We are so intertwined, interdependent, interrelated in this world that I encourage you tomorrow when you're at your picnics and your barbecues, that you take that spatula to flip the burger and think about who designed the first one and who got that one into your hand, how many people it took to get it there, or who grew those potatoes that went into your potato salad, or even just who built the roads that brought your family and friends into one place that you might enjoy each other's company. It's also a reminder that our own labor has an impact on the world, whether we see it or not. That every child you've ever taught, every friend you've ever supported, every adventure you yourself ever went on or created for someone, you've had an impact in this world. And that continues. And that truly is what we are celebrating tomorrow, which is the labor of all of us that creates this world that we all share. So we have a new month, a new theme. The theme this month is called That Spiritual Feeling. And we're talking about emotions. We're humans, so we have them all, right? And although we're really happy to find love and joy and awe and amazement, we often feel like we're hijacked by things like anger and grief or fear. And so this month we're talking about how to better understand our emotional life in terms of our spiritual truth, to realize that our emotions are the signposts, the guideposts along the road that help us to live our best life when properly understood. And that's what we're going to be looking at. Holmes has told us, Ernest Holmes, the founder of the philosophy, has told us that it's our feelings that fuel the change in our life. When we do a prayer treatment, when we visualize something new that we're looking toward in our life, it's the feeling we get that actually magnetizes whatever it is that we're looking for towards us. But he also goes on to explain that in the well-balanced person, our emotion is controlled by the intellect, but in many people, or even most of us on a bad day, there's conflict between the emotion and the intellect. And emotion that's uncontrolled produces chaos. And so what we come to understand through our spiritual practice is that even our emotions are subject to the way that we think. And if thinking doesn't change them, because you can't always talk yourself out of a good grudge, can you? Right? William James, also a New Thought writer, says the emotions aren't always immediately subject to reason, but they are always immediately subject to action. So another way to make change in our own lives is to take action in some form or fashion. And that's what this emotional guidance system is going to do for us. It's going to help us know what that next step is, what that direction is that we're being called to. Last month, we talked about relief from the heat. You know, how to dial down the temperature of daily life, whether external circumstances or internal conflict. And this month, we're going to start with anger, because that is one of those hot emotions. And sometimes, as is the title today, heat has a purpose. Our anger serves a purpose, and that's what we're going to explore. So I'm going to start with a story about potatoes, because they're so spiritual. This is the part where you laugh at your minister's jokes. Hello out there. Thank you. Okay, I feel better now. It's all about me. Yeah. So Thich Nhat Hanh wrote this, gave a little talk called Cooking Anger. He says, your anger is like a flower. In the beginning, you may not understand the nature of your anger or why it has come up. But if you know how to embrace it with the energy of mindfulness, like a flower, it will begin to open. You need to sustain your mindfulness for a certain amount of time in order for the flower of anger to open herself. It's like when you cook potatoes. You put the potatoes in the pot, you cover it, and you put it on the fire. And you have to keep the fire burning 15, 20, 25 minutes in order for the potatoes to cook. And after that, you open the lid and you smell the wonderful aroma of cooked potatoes. Your anger is like that. It needs to be cooked. In the beginning, it's raw. You cannot eat raw potatoes. Your anger is very difficult to enjoy. But if you know how to take care of it, to cook it, then the negative energy of your anger will become the positive energy of understanding and therefore compassion. You can do it. You can transform the garbage of anger, the chaos of anger, into the flower of compassion. The secret is to generate the energy of mindfulness. Embrace your anger with a lot of tenderness. Your anger is not your enemy. Your anger is your baby. It's like your stomach or your lungs. Every time you have some trouble in your lungs or your stomach, you don't think about throwing them away. The same is true with your anger. You accept your anger because you know you can take care of it. You can transform it through mindfulness, which recognizes, embraces, and relieves. So there is a power in this recognition, this acceptance, that anger is simply part of our human condition, and it serves a purpose. You know, if we believe, as we're taught, that life is for us, that means all of life. And that includes those moments when we are inexplicably cranky or frustrated or any other form of anger that shows up. The thing that strong feelings do for us is they show us what's important to us. They indicate where our values are. Think about it. You are extremely happy in certain situations because those are the things that have meaning for you. Or you are triggered into anger, especially intense anger, because something that you hold dear is being threatened in some way. So what is it that makes you angry? Right? For me, I know it's injustice. Right? Seeing something that's not fair or unkind, whether it's a person or a system. Right? Maybe it's fear makes you lash out in anger, very protective of yourself or someone else or something that you hold dear. Maybe it's just caring deeply. And if somehow that is threatened, then anger could be the response. It's that unexpected reaction sometimes that seems to take over. The way we deal with that is to keep asking why and what has caused that anger to come up. You know, I was trying to think of a really good example, but the only one I can come up with on the spot is traffic. All right? People are going so slowly in front of me. I don't drive slowly as a rule. I don't know if any of you have that issue or not. I'm sure most of you are just all zen when you're on the road. Not if you grew up here. But I can get really angry at a driver for, cutting me off or going slow or driving a Prius. I mean, name it. I can get mad at it. And I have to ask myself, why am I mad? Well, I want to go faster, so I'm frustrated. Okay, why am I frustrated? Well, because I need to be somewhere. Okay, and why does that frustrate me that I need to be somewhere? Well, because they're in my way. Well, what is it about them that's in my way? Well, nothing really. I mean, we're all moving. The traffic can't really go any faster than the traffic, I guess, and the whole freeway is about the same speed. So, why am I angry? Well, I'm impatient because I think I'm not going to get something that I want. And that's really not the most important thing to me now, is it? If I'm angry because somebody cut me off and it scared me and I want to protect my life or the life of whoever's in my car, that's anger from a different source, and yet the same thing applies. In this moment, I'm safe. In this moment, I am moving towards my destination. In this moment, things are unfolding in time and space. Oh, and by the way, my anger serves no one. It does not get me there any faster, and it certainly doesn't get me there any happier. It allows me to choose a different response. It allows me to understand myself better so that I can make a different choice somewhere down the road. Like maybe next time I could leave a little earlier, right? So we have the ability to shift. Now, what happens when I leave a little earlier? First of all, I'm happier. I'm much easier to be around. And I get here and I'm not frazzled or wherever I'm going. The other thing is, if I'm feeling more comfortable, I don't do stupid things when I drive, like move too fast or change lanes without signaling or all those other things that make people crazy, right? So we understand better where it comes from. We're going to act differently. It's got to not only improve our own life, it's going to improve the lives of the people around us, because we're a lot more fun to be around when we're happy too, even if it is anonymously in our cars. We want to get to the source of. We want to get to the clear value. We want to get rid of whatever the story of the circumstance is. Because the truth is, another car in the lane next to me truly doesn't have any power over the feeling inside of me. Let me say that again. Something outside of me has no true power over something inside of me, unless I let it, unless my thinking is distorted, unless I have a very human reaction of fear and needing to protect myself, sometimes justifiably, but truly, most of the time, I'm not in danger. I'm not at the whim of the world. So I have a story for you about a woman who was studying the book of Malachi from the Old Testament in the Bible. And she took particular interest in chapter 3, verse 3, which says, "He will sit as a refiner and purifier of silver." She was puzzled by the verse and wanting to understand. She decided to look at the process of purifying silver, and she visited a silversmith and watched him work. And as she watched him, he held a piece of silver over the fire and let it heat up. He explained that in refining silver, one needed to hold the silver in the middle of the fire where the flames were hottest so as to burn away all the impurities. The woman thought again about the verse. He sits as a refiner and purifier of silver. So she asked the silversmith if it was true that he had to sit there in front of the fire the whole time that the silver was being purified. He said yes, he not only had to sit there holding the silver, but he had to keep his eye on it the entire time it was in the fire. If it were left even a moment too long in the flames, it would be destroyed. The woman was silent for a moment, and then she asked the silversmith, "How do you know when the silver is fully refined?" He smiled at her and answered, "Oh, that's easy. It's finished when I can see my image in it." It's finished when I can see my image in it. You know, when we can be in an intense situation and still see the reflection of spirit in it, we are going to come from some place other than anger. Whatever anger might have been triggered, it will be refined, it will be burned away. If we stay in the anger too long, we will be destroyed, or the relationship will be destroyed, or we will do something destructive that we had no intention of doing because we stayed in it too long. Our call as this human divine dance that we do is to recognize the reflection of spirit in whatever it is we're in the middle of, whatever it is we are dealing with, whatever is going on inside of us. We need to see the inherent divinity even in the anger. There's a woman, Valerie Kaur, who writes on Sikhism, and she talks about divine rage. She talks about a lot of the Buddhist gods and goddesses, but she also said this. She said, divine rage is fierce, disciplined, and visionary. It's the fury of Jesus when he overturned the tables of the money changers in the temple in Christian scripture. The aim of divine rage is not vengeance, but to reorder the world. It is precise and purposeful. Perhaps our task as human beings is to find safe containers for our raw, reactionary rage, and then choose to harness the energy in a way that creates a new world for all of us. You see, anger serves a purpose when it is directed. Intensity needs intention. Our job is to create a direction, is to recognize it for the signpost of change that it is, and then to choose an intention or a direction to move forward with that energy. Not as anger, but simply as power. Ernest Holmes says that energy has to find an outlet. And in transforming energy into power, we unite an invisible essence with an invisible law, which is the way the universe works. If we identify ourselves with the source, then our word establishes eternal harmony, transforms everything, and rearranges everything to our good, to our benefit. It's an act of complete surrender of the human to the divine without the loss of the human. We're not giving up the energy that anger represents. We're reusing it in a more productive way. He says it's a complete inflowing of the divine into the human. And isn't that what our spiritual practice is all about? To bring our spiritual nature into this world. To bring our own knowledge and sense of wholeness into what appears to be broken. We're here to be that light. We're here to be that power for good. We're here to show up as our best selves. And anger isn't an obstacle unless we are unaware of it, in which case we thrash about and increase the chaos, right? So we don't have to, change entire spiritual traditions with our anger. We do this in everyday life. So here's my example. Anybody else watch women's basketball besides me? Okay, fine. Diana Taurasi, anybody know who she is? She's a 6 gold medal Olympian. She's 40-some years old. She probably will retire after this year, but she's still playing at the elite level. And here's what happens with Diana. She's been out there for a very long time on those courts. If you talk to any or hear of any of the younger players talk about her, they'll say, "Oh, I watched you when I was a little girl." That's great. That means she's old, right? She's out there all the time. She knows the game, so she proceeds to tell the referees all the time about the call that they missed and the foul they should have called on the other team. And she's really frustrated when she does this. Like, what is wrong with you? Diana is known to get technical fouls for arguing with the refs all the time. Her anger, her frustration, her desire for things to be right and fair can sometimes be an obstacle if she gets kicked out of the game, which doesn't usually happen. She stops before that point. But what happens when Diana gets mad? She makes every one of her three-point shots. Every single one of them. If she's gotten all upset the next time she's on the court, she will make basket after basket after basket. That's called redirecting your anger. That's called turning it into something productive. And that is what we all do in our daily lives when we are conscious. When we realize, hey, I am like all stirred up. What do I do with this? What can I use this for? How can I contribute in some way? How can I put this energy to good use? Do I really want to just stay in the mud and spin my wheels? Or do I want to move down the road? We want to take this so-called human failure and move it ahead. Somehow transform it. Take this impure silver and distill it down to the Spirit's reflection, to the good that wants to come forth from every situation. To redirect our actions with our intention to do good, to be good in the world. We want the signpost of emotion to show us the path to wholeness, to connection, to change in a positive way, which means we're called to contribute. We may not be the one out there, changing the path of civil rights or solving the problem of homelessness. But where we are called to action by our anger, we can contribute in some way. Time, talents, treasure. It's our intention to heal that creates a path for us to use that energy for good. And we all can and do that every day. The good that life is, the attributes of spirit that we all aspire to, show up in this world when we find them in ourselves. It is the divine moving through us. Or as Ernest Holmes says, our spiritual practice is for the purpose of unifying our consciousness with that one mind, with the ultimate good of life, opening up the avenues of thought and feeling to a greater influx and expression. If we can see ourselves as avenues of the divine in this world, then anything that we experience has to be an avenue for good to come through. It's just up to us to find the reflection of Spirit's face in all that we do. Namaste. So I invite you to join me in a moment of prayer. Taking a breath and breathing in this idea of Spirit moving through each of us into the world. And this power, this energy of Spirit is good and always good. It is an expression of love and wisdom. It is an awareness of all of life being part of this interwoven whole, this wholeness that we long for, this wholeness that we sense in some moments, this belonging that we crave. We belong to each other. And so I know that infinite essence of joy, of love, of wisdom, of clarity is part of the consciousness that I carry, that I understand. And as I see these attributes being lived in the world, in others, and in myself, I understand more fully that all of me is part of the good of all the world. There is no place where God is not. The face of Spirit shines in every face. The hearts of all are motivated by love, even when they are seemingly covered up by anger or fear or rejection. There is a truth and a power in the kindness expressed in the world by each and every one of us that supersedes that fear, that anger, that withdrawal. There is a truth in love that elevates us all, and never more so than when we ourselves express it. And so I claim and know that all human emotion is in fact energy in motion. And I choose to move in and for and as good, in and for and as love. I choose to see that in this world. I choose to look for it in this world, and I find it. For all that I see rightly is this truth, that love is, that wisdom is, that I am that, and so are you. And for this I am grateful. Grateful for this perspective that includes all of my humanity and allows for its transformation into that which is greater, that which is coming into being, that which I am a part of birthing. For this is the nature of life, to give and give again. And it is good and very good, for it is truly all God. And so it is. All right, we have another song from our invisible guest. I'm not sure which invisible guest it is this time, but we're going to listen.
Gray skies hanging over me, clouding my serenity. Winds of change are blowing everything around, but I know just what to do to achieve a different view. Following my heart, it never lets me down. Taking the surest road can lead to nowhere. Singing the same old song can leave you flat, but this led to that. I am where I'm at, 'cause the spirit deep within is getting comfortable in my skin, getting comfortable in my skin. Looking back at where I've been, only to begin again. Life has come full circle in this blessed dance, and I know the future brings only just the best of things. Spirit at the helm, I leave nothing to chance, and I won't face my past with indecision, and I won't worry what I might have missed, 'cause that led to this, and this state of bliss is the spirit deep within, getting comfortable in my skin, getting comfortable in my skin. Feel it move me, feel it breathe me. Open your eyes, let the spirit see me. I myself was lost, but now I know. Taking the surest road can lead to nowhere. Singing the same old song can leave you flat, but this led to that. I am where I'm at, 'cause the spirit deep within is getting comfortable in my skin, getting comfortable in my skin. So take a look, go look again. You'll see the spirit is comfortable in my skin.
Okay, so that was Margaret Owen, Spirit Within makes me comfortable in my skin. So note to self, next time we have music only, I will provide lyrics so that you can understand them. Because she sings really well, and it's a great song, but you probably only got like 5 words, so I understand. Just know you've been uplifted, yes? Yes, okay. So I'd like to invite our ushers to come forward, please. Oh, the affirmation. Good. While you're coming forward, we'll do our affirmation in the program. Thank you. Please repeat after me. As I pause to identify myself with Source, the energy of my anger is transformed into the power of the divine. I am moved to act with intentional love. And so it is. All right, so at our time of contribution, it's when we remember that we are a part of this life that is larger than our individual selves, and that how we contribute is what creates this community. And so, with great gratitude, let us also say our prosperity affirmation as the baskets move through the room. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am prosperous now. I want to remind you, too, that there are cards on the back table that you can stick in your wallet. There's a little prosperity on the back, affirmation on the back that you can use during the week, and a phone number that allows you to text to give. So if you find yourself away from the center, or you have simply received a large, bountiful gift of some sort and wish to tithe part of it to our community, you can do so from anywhere. We try to make it easy. All right, let's talk about invitations. All right, we will have our last Gateway meeting. No, we won't even. We're done. Okay, we're taking a break in September from Wednesday Night Gateway. And that is to allow us time to reimagine what we would like to do. And we're asking you to let us know what you might like to do. Would you like a short class on Wednesday nights? Would you like to Zoom in? Would you like to come in person? Would you like to do arts and crafts or some kind of service project? You want to meet once a month? You want to meet every week? What sparks your interest? A book study. A book study is a possibility too. Yes. Do you have a favorite book that you might want to take a deeper dive into? We have a little daylight left in the evenings, at least for a while. We can use it to our advantage, or we can hunker down, dial in, do something online. What would serve? What?
Or would Wednesday, like at noon, be better, or 5 or 7, so we can play with the time?
Yeah, we can play with the time. We can play with the content. We just want ways for us to connect besides Sunday morning, in addition to Sunday morning. I mean, we don't ever want to get rid of this. We just want to add to it. Yes, Graham?
What about meditation?
Meditation will continue online with Nisa. Mary, do you know if she said she was still coming in person or no?
She will not come in person.
Okay, but she will continue to do it online. So Wednesday night at 5 o'clock, meditation, Zoom. The link is on the website and also in the e-blast. Okay, so that will continue. But let us know. We're looking to put out a little survey through email. So if you're on our email list, we'll send out a couple questions, give you an opportunity. Or grab a piece of paper back there and write something down and hand it to Mary or hand it to Mickey or me or whatever. We'll take all ideas and we'll see what rises to the top. Because we want to be able to find new ways to connect in real ways. All right? So that's Wednesday nights. So don't come Wednesday. Dial in and meditate if you'd like. Okay, we continue this month with our Super Soap Sundays. Bring your soap and other personal hygiene items. We're supporting Foothill Family Shelter. They have a need for pretty much anything and everything you can think of that supports your own health and sanitary living and whatever might be helpful to someone who's struggling or maybe doesn't have a lot of spare cash or could use a little boost in some way. We're also still supporting the food bank, so if you would like to bring in non-perishable foods, the food collection is continuing as well. But this month we are focusing on personal care items and soap, of course. This coming Saturday, on the 7th at 2 o'clock, the drumming starts. The contemplative drumming is at 2, the regular drumming is at 3, and this week afterwards there is a potluck and a kirtan concert that's taking place from 5:30 to 7:30 on Saturday. Excuse me. So you can bring a dish to share. It's music, it's chanting, it's dancing, or you can just sit and listen. It should be a lovely, lovely experience. That's Saturday at 5:30 for the concert, but the drumming itself starts at 2 and at 3. Don't have to have your own drum. They have instruments here. But if you've ever been on campus when the drumming circle is going on, it's pretty impressive. You'd be surprised at how much rhythm you have when the whole room is in rhythm. You can follow along. Trust me on that. Okay. Reminder that you can help us grow on social media by saying like, by love, by commenting, by sharing. You know, every time you share something from the Claremont Center website, your friends all see it. And maybe, just maybe, they might want what you have, since you're so much happier and easier to be around since you started coming here, right? Right. The list in the back has all of our activities, our dancing, our meetings that happen on campus. And you probably saw the sign outside the front door that said the Unity service is happening in here at 12:30 on Sundays. So most of you may know that Unity is renting our one classroom as their office. They sold their church building. So they're renting our room for their office, and they are starting services this month in here at 12:30. So they have the room from 12:30 to 2. And they're looking for a more permanent solution, but for now, of course, we're happy to have them. If you've seen the U-Haul containers in the parking lot, that's their storage units that they're also renting from us, the space that they're renting from us. So what I know about Unity is that it is also New Thought. It is simply a way of teaching what we teach with a slightly different twist on the language, and yet still spiritual principles. So we're happy to have them, happy to support them, and glad that we have the space to accommodate them, even if it is temporary. Let's see, anything else? Sue. Oh, Reiki is not yet, though. No, the 21st. So third Saturday. We added it to our list of regular events. So third Saturday, 2:00 Reiki. Healing energy work that does many miraculous things. Just ask Diane. I don't know if you noticed, last month she was coming up here with the cane and needed help and sat down there and didn't do the step. And today she just like popped up and popped down. So that's something she attributes to Reiki. So look for that. Okay, anything? Yes, Mickey.
You know what, people have been asking about the Signs of Mind magazine, and they finally did come in. It's 2 months, September and October.
Right, okay, so
It used to be $5, but now it's $10 for September and October.
Okay, so the magazines are in. They've had some production issues, so they've been a little bit delayed. You can also subscribe online. I would encourage you to get a subscription. It's a way of supporting the magazine. We have just a couple more years to go for that magazine to have been in publication for 100 years. So if we can get enough subscriptions to keep them going for a little while, it serves all of us. And if you've not seen the magazine, there are plenty of examples back there. The older issues you are welcome to take with you. Those are gifts. If you'd like to buy the current issue, that supports our bookstore. And it's everything from columns, a little bit of science, a little bit of spirituality, a little bit of something different that maybe we haven't thought of, and daily guides. So something to read and meditate on every day. So take a look and avail yourself of that. That would be lovely. All right, we've got coffee next door, and let's stand up, move to the sides, and sing.
Take a look at the person next to you and say, God loves you and I love you too. Now feel the love in the sanctuary.